When country singer LeAnn Rimes met Eddie Cibrian on the set of the 2009 film Northern Lights, they decided to risk it all by engaging in some boot-knockin. Their sneaky link resulted in the end of their respective marriages, and the public backlash has been fierce and steady ever since. Those of you who threaten to unfollow us because we won't stop singing in our videos, please don't leave. And tell me now, how do I live without you? I want to know, how do I breathe? But for the rest of y'all, go ahead and visit rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of beef and bacon jerky, toasted corn nuts, green apple licorice, and RRG coffee mugs. This hot, stinking mess wouldn't be complete without a backstory. So sit back, relax, and let's take a trip back to August 28, 1982, when LeAnn was born in Jackson, Mississippi. At the age of 6, she and her parents moved to Garland, Texas, where LeAnn took an interest in singing and dancing. She burst onto the music scene in the mid-90s. By the time she was 14, she had sold 6 million copies of her re-released song called Blue, and she made music history by becoming the first country singer to win a Grammy for Best New Artist in 1996. That same year, 14-year-old LeAnn met 23-year-old aspiring actor Eddie Cibrian. Lord, here we go. They posed for a photo and went their separate ways. Oh, okay, because I was about to say. At such a young age, LeAnn was faced with a grueling tour and recording schedule. She performed at 500 shows in a 3.5-year time period, and her mental health suffered. There were days when she wanted to take off, but she didn't know what to do with herself when she wasn't performing. She told Insider website, "Being in the public eye from the time I was very young and having to override my humanness, I think was a huge part of my experience with anxiety and depression and what was triggering it." In 2001, while hosting the Academy of Country Music Awards, she met a backup dancer named Dean Sharamay. They embarked on a whirlwind romance, and in 2002, at the age of 19, she and 21-year-old Dean became husband and wife. For their 7-year wedding anniversary, they invited 30 of their closest friends to celebrate at a California winery. LeAnn told People magazine, "We wanted to remember how blessed we are and how excited we still are about each other." She also expressed a desire to have a baby, but life had other things in store. This is about to get messy. At the start of 2009, she headed out to Alberta, Canada to film the Lifetime movie Northern Lights alongside Eddie, who was married to Brandi Glanville at the time. The couple also shared 2 children.
I've only worked with LeAnn so far.
We've become really good friends. He's a very sweet guy, and he's my pool partner actually off of set. We've been playing a lot of pool.
Brandi told People magazine that she visited Eddie on set, and she insisted on meeting LeAnn, so Eddie set up a double date. In her memoir, which we've linked in the description box, Brandi wrote that she and Eddie went out for sushi with LeAnn and Dean. Brandi added, "And this woman, whom I had just met, spent more time flirting with my husband than acknowledging her own." She needed her ass beat. As the evening progressed, Brandi alleged that as LeAnn made multiple inappropriate advances toward Eddie, Eddie would squeeze Brandi's hand a little tighter or tongue her down in front of LeAnn and Dean to help ease Brandi's fears. Later that night, LeAnn dragged Eddie on stage to perform a karaoke rendition of Sonny and Cher's song, "I Got You, Babe." They were bold as hell. Baby, couldn't have been me. Couldn't have been me, honey. But that wasn't it. LeAnn accidentally smeared some cake frosting on her shirt, and without realizing Brandi was standing behind her, LeAnn asked Eddie if he wanted to lick it off. With her thirsty ass. Brandi wrote in her memoir that Eddie simply laughed and gave LeAnn a stare with his hungry eyes. After stepping between them and asking what the hell was going on, Eddie told Brandi she was being silly and eventually convinced her that she was just being paranoid. When Brandi brought up the frosting incident, Eddie reportedly told her, "You see and hear things that don't actually happen." This ninja gaslight much? Dean told Entertainment Tonight he realized something was up when he noticed LeAnn and Eddie's body language during a game of pool. Dean added, "I wouldn't trust Eddie as far as I could throw this f***ing table. He just felt like one of those guys from the beginning, a total schmoozer." You tell him, Dean. And then in March 2009, Us Weekly shared security footage of LeAnn and Eddie holding hands as they walked into a bar in Laguna Beach, California. Additional footage from inside the establishment showed Eddie kissing LeAnn's hands and the couple playing tonsil hockey. The magazine also reported that a week prior, LeAnn and Eddie spent 3 hours inside a Malibu motel. That sounds fun as hell. During an interview with Shape magazine, LeAnn admitted she was disappointed in herself for having an affair, and she became depressed once her fans found out about her infidelity. She added, "I think any relationship is hard to get out of, and I don't think the way I did it was right." You think? Brandy found out about their affair through the press, and she was devastated. She told People magazine she went home, passed out in the closet, and cried and cried and cried. Eddie, with his goofy self, released a statement to Access Hollywood and called the gossip a fabricated story that is using random snapshots as connective tissue to create a scandalous relationship. Boy, if you don't sit your lying ass down. When she and Eddie finally had a conversation about it, Eddie told her he didn't love LeAnn, and he wanted to go to counseling to work on their marriage. Boy, stop lying. Not only did Eddie continue seeing LeAnn while he and Brandy were in counseling, but Brandy found out there was another woman Eddie was knocking down. Somebody come take his dang-a-lang away. He don't need it. He don't even need it. Vanderpump Rules star Sheena Marie Shea claimed she met Eddie sometime around 2007. About 6 months into their relationship, she found out he was married to Brandy. Sheena told Us Weekly, "He lied at first about it, and then he admitted it. So I stopped talking to him for a long time." Oh, he's a pathological liar, ain't he? Sheena said she ran into him years later, and he told her that he was separated. So they started blowing each other's backs out again. Shortly after their boot-knockin session, she found out that not only was he still married to Brandy, but he was banging LeAnn's brains out too. Lord, he's just giving it to everybody, huh? You get some dang-a-lang, you get some dang-a-lang, you get some dang-a-lang. Sheena said, "It was just a mess. I ended things there. I stopped talking to him, and I've never talked to him again." He lied to you the first time, girl. What made you think he was gonna tell the truth this time? Now, back to Eddie and Brandy. The public humiliation was too much for Brandy to handle. Whenever she turned on the TV, Eddie and LeAnn's faces were plastered on the screen. While LeAnn's husband tried to quietly move on, Brandy decided to seek revenge. In other words, LeAnn slept with the wrong woman's husband. Okay. Tell me more, girl. Brandy set up an undercover operation and recorded Eddie saying how he loved her and that he didn't love LeAnn. Ooh, she's messy, and I love it. Then Brandy sent the recording to LeAnn. Girl, let that man go be with his mistress. Hell, you ain't left him yet. However, nothing could keep Eddie and LeAnn away from each other. LeAnn and Dean separated, and they put their Nashville home on the market for $7.45 million. And then in September 2009, LeAnn was spotted in Mexico with Eddie. Ay, caramba! Dean filed for divorce in December 2009. On the same day he filed, he and LeAnn agreed to a confidential divorce settlement to divide their cash, property, and other valuables. LeAnn was ready to officially move on. Yeah, no shit. Even though she knew her married boyfriend had already cheated on her with Sheena, allegedly, LeAnn moved in with Eddie and his 2 sons. Eddie told ABC News, "I'm a better father for everything that has happened. I'm a better friend. It's been difficult, but it's definitely been worth it." Worth it? Eddie continued on with appearing in films and TV shows, while LeAnn was left to fight the backlash of being labeled a homewrecker. When she announced she and Eddie had gotten engaged in December 2010, no one even gave a damn. Dang, dog. In April 2011, after leading their guests to believe they were arriving at their engagement party, Eddie and LeAnn surprised them with a wedding. Surprise, surprise. That's the only way they could get people to show up, huh? While she should have been happy to start her life with her new husband, LeAnn was still in turmoil. She sought professional help for her anxiety and depression and checked into a mental health facility in 2012, the day after her 30th birthday. She also said she was dealing with deep codependency, so being alone in the treatment center for 30 days made her even more anxious. In the end, she called it the best gift she could have given herself. But did the treatment actually help? In an interview, LeAnn said that despite her month-long rehab stint, she still had thoughts of ending her life. She also struggled with the idea of Eddie finding some new sugar walls to dive into. And according to LeAnn, Eddie was also concerned that LeAnn would find a new dangalang to bounce on. She added, "I think we've been very honest and open with that to each other, and our conversations about it have only made me understand that he cares as much as I do about being faithful to each other." Faithful? What the hell do either one of y'all know about being faithful? They renewed their vows on their first wedding anniversary, and married life was a hot, stinking mess. Eddie's ex-wife Brandy moved on by landing a gig on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. However, she was finding it difficult to co-parent with Eddie and LeAnn. When LeAnn referred to Eddie and Eddie's sons as "my boys" in a tweet, Brandy responded, "They are my boys, Eddie's boys, and your stepsons. For now." Why they fighting over Eddie like that? He must have a dangalang of gold. And then Brandy claimed one of their sons got sick after ingesting some of LeAnn's laxatives. Brandy told Us Weekly she didn't think LeAnn was stable, and she didn't want LeAnn around her children without supervision. Brandy also claimed LeAnn posted a video of her youngest son riding his bicycle without a helmet. In response, Eddie told Radar Online his children were lucky to have LeAnn in their lives. As for LeAnn, her publicist fired back about the laxative story by telling ABC News that Brandy's allegations were threatening, mean-spirited, and untrue. So what's it like to be married to someone who cheated on their partner in order to be with you? Probably a hot, stinking nightmare. During a January 2013 interview with Entertainment Tonight, LeAnn was asked if she was still worried that Eddie would cheat on her. LeAnn responded, "I would be ignorant to say, and everyone else would think I am a liar if I wouldn't say yes." Duh. Although she had thoughts about Eddie smashing another woman's cheeks to smithereens, LeAnn said it was no longer at the forefront of her mind. Girl, stop lying. LeAnn and Eddie took their dusty love story to reality TV in a 2014 VH1 series called LeAnn and Eddie. They soon realized that most of the public doesn't care to support or romanticize sketchy relationships. In the end, the show was canceled after one season. Bye. During production of the show, LeAnn fulfilled her contractual obligation with Curb Records, the label she signed with when she was 11 years old. Her final album on the label was released digitally on services in America, Europe, and Australia, and a physical CD was released exclusively through Walmart. Since then, she has released 4 more albums on various labels. None of them have garnered the kind of success she experienced prior to sleeping with Brandy's husband. Y'all so damn messy. Her struggles led her to launch a podcast called Holy Human back in 2020. She used her platform to introduce fans to her wellness journey and mental health toolkit. And ahead of their 10-year wedding anniversary in 2021, Eddie told Entertainment Tonight that married life was wonderful, and they were constantly finding new reasons to fall in love with each other. Was it all worth it, though? Many people believe their affair single-handedly destroyed LeAnn's promising music career. Prior to the scandal, she sold more than 40 million albums worldwide, with 45 singles reaching Billboard's country music charts, and she's one of the youngest artists to earn a Grammy Award. But now, no one is really checking for her. While country fans have forgiven Mr. "Try that in a small town" Jason Aldean for publicly cheating on his wife, and Eddie continues to move forward relatively unscathed, apparently fans aren't quite ready to extend that same grace to LeAnn. Her ex-husband Dean chimed in by telling Entertainment Tonight, "The dumbest thing she ever did for her career was divorce me because we were such a good team. She's gone away from what she was put on this earth to do. It's all been at the expense of that." Is it time for the public to get over LeAnn and Eddie's affair and move the hell on? Let us know your thoughts down below. And thanks for watching. RRG.